Hi everyone. In this video, we're going to look at the top 5 best solar generators in 2025. We made this list based on our own opinions, research, and customer reviews. We've considered their quality, features, and values when narrowing down the best choices possible. If you want more information and updated pricing on the products mentioned, be sure to check the links in the description box below. So, here are the top 5 best solar generators. The 5th product on our list is BLUETTI EB3A Portable Power Station. Having a good solar power generator doesn't mean you have to spend an arm and a leg, especially if you don't need something super powerful that can handle a whole house. The BLUETTI EB3A, as it's so creatively called, is a perfect example of that, being something relatively small and portable that you can get for less than $300 at MSRP, and oftentimes less than $200 if you wait for a good deal. Of course, you do give up some capacity in the exchange, with it only having 268 watt-hours, although honestly, even that's not too bad since it can charge your average phone 20 times or a laptop 4 times. Where the BLUETTI EB3A really shines, though, is in the capacity to be charged from solar energy, with its internal MPPT controller able to support up to 200 watts of charging. That will bring it up to 80% in about an hour and a half, assuming ideal weather, meaning that you could potentially use this all day long. Of course, if you want to use a more traditional wall charger, you can go up to as fast as 430 watt charging, which should fill it up in an hour. Either way, you can charge it to full capacity pretty quickly, and if you are mostly using it for phones, tablets, and laptops, you could very likely use it all day long with solar charging. Speaking of devices, the BLUETTI EB3A can handle 600 watts of output, which isn't as much as other solar power generators here, but it's good enough for the basics, and since it's made to be portable, that's what it's aimed at. As for ports, you have 9 to work with 2 AC outlets, 2 USB-A, 1 100-watt USB-C, 2 DC 551 ports, and a carport. You'll notice that there's still one missing, and that's because the last and most unique port is the wireless charger, which isn't something you'll find in any other solar power station here, and is a neat addition for those who have phones that can do wireless charging. Up next in 4th place is the Jackery Solar Generator 3000 Pro. If you lead a more active lifestyle and are worried that your solar power generator is not going to be able to handle the rugged lifestyle, you're in luck. Jackery makes the 3000 Pro, which is not only lighter but is built to withstand the elements, and Jackery sure wants you to know it, given how many snowy pictures it's in. Marketing aside, the 3024 watt-hour capacity is pretty impressive, especially when you consider the whole thing only weighs 64 pounds or so, and with the handle and rollers, it is easy to move around with you outside. However, it might not survive a wooded jungle as easily with so many tripping hazards. When it comes to wattage output, you'll be happy to note that it can handle up to 3,000 watts, which means it can handle a very wide array of things you can power, including things like a fridge, a TV, and even an AC unit. That said, it would be a pretty big waste to do that, given it's really meant for outdoor use, with the ability to handle temperatures as low as -4 degrees Fahrenheit. Also, since cold temperatures heavily impact battery life, it has a smart system that decreases the amount of power drawn according to battery level to give you as much juice as you can get out of it. As for ports, you have a ton of them, including 2 18-watt USB-A, 200-watt USB-C, 4 AC ports, a 5th port made for heavy-duty appliances, and a 12-volt car port. Charging is similarly versatile, and you can charge it fully from a wall outlet in about 2.4 hours, while solar charging, which can go as high as 1,200 watts, will do it in about 3.5 hours. While the button below will send you to just the solar power station, there's a great sus to help get you going if you don't already have any. The 3rd product on our list is the Goal Zero Yeti 1500X. If the portability of the solar panel plays a large role in your decision-making process when it comes to buying something, then this Goal Zero Yeti 1500X bundle is the one we would go for, because it comes with the Boulder 100 briefcase solar panel. As the name suggests, the Boulder 100 turns into a briefcase, and while it is still a bit large and heavy, coming in at 22 pounds or so, it makes it a much easier thing to carry around, given that it's built around that concept. Also, at 100 watts in ideal conditions, The Boulder 100 should charge the Yeti 1500X in around 18 to 36 hours. So it's a perfect option for camping where you don't plan to be using a ton of electricity constantly. That said, there is also an excellent bundle, which will charge it in around 4 to 8 hours. So it all depends on how much charging you need. As for the Yeti 1500X itself, it has a pretty good capacity at 1,516 watt-hour, so it sits in a solid middle ground when comparing a lot of various solar power generators. In a more practical sense, it really is very well suited for camping or other outdoor activities that might take a day or two, since it can power a 35-watt mini fridge for 44 hours or 30-watt speakers for 50 hours. Plus, it can do 30-watt recharges of a 50-watt laptop. That's not to say it isn't good for home use as well, especially given that it can run an average 71-watt fridge for 21 hours or a 65-watt CPAP machine for 24 hours. It's versatile, but probably leaning more towards outdoorsy types of activities. In terms of ports, you get a good number, and it includes a couple of DC ports, a car port, a 60-watt PD USB-C, an 18-watt QC USB-C, and 2 USB-As. It also has 2 AC outlets that can handle up to 2,000 watts total, or 3,500 watts if you use the surge feature. So it can handle some powerful machines connected to it, which is nice. It also has a really excellent screen that gives you a ton of relevant information, from battery charge to how much output you are using. The only downside is that the whole bundle is quite heavy, with the Boulder 100 being 22 pounds and the Yeti 1500X weighing 46 pounds. That's 68 pounds worth of weight to carry, making this not as portable as we would like. The second product on our list is the EcoFlow DELTA Pro. Having something small and relatively portable is great if you only need to power a few small things for a couple of hours. But if you have somewhat more heavy-duty needs, like powering a whole house, then the EcoFlow DELTA Pro is the way to go. It's pretty massive, but that also means that it has a massive capacity of 3,600 watt-hour, which is probably more than the average household would use in a day, but is the perfect option if you get regular electricity cuts and need emergency power for a few days. Even better, you can expand the system by adding more of the Delta Pros, with an upper limit of 25,000 work health and safety, when you combine 6 of them, although the actual available capacity is 80% for EcoFlow, so keep that in mind. As for wattage, it's a very respectable 3,600 watts, with the ability to go up to 4,500 watts with EcoFlow's X-Boost technology, which is probably more than enough to run several different devices in your home, including potentially ACs or washing machines. We don't really think you're likely to be using a washing machine in an emergency or backup power situation, but it's a nice option to have if you're dealing with a week-long power cut. Also, much like the capacity, you can expand the wattage with additional units up to a maximum of 7,200 watts. So it really is more than enough to power a whole home if you want to go that route. When it comes to charging, you have several options, such as charging through a wall outlet with up to 1,800 watts, which should take about 3 hours at that capacity. You can, of course, also charge with solar panels with a combined max input of 1,600 watts, which will also see it charged, in an ideal situation, in about 3 to 4 hours. Before we reveal number 1, be sure to check out the description below for the newest deals on each of these items, and be sure to subscribe if you want to stay up to date on the best products on the market. Finally, our top product title name is the Jackery Explorer 1000. Jackery makes some of the most well-known and recognizable solar power generators, so it's no surprise that the Jackery Explorer 1000 made the top of our list. It has a lot of things that make it a solidly balanced option for many, from the capacity it has to the price tag it comes with. The 1,000-watt capacity it can manage is quite a lot, and it can charge most things you can think of except, potentially, something like a microwave or a space heater that can go well over 1,000 watts. Even so, it can power a wide range of devices, which is always a good thing. As for capacity, you get 1,002 watt-hours out of it, although in practical usage, it's only 85% of that capacity, which is pretty standard since most brands cap it at around that amount of capacity, which does help a bit with longevity. Either way, that still gives you around 851 watt-hours to play with, which means a 100-watt device can run for 8.5 hours before the Jackery loses charge. Oh, and the best part is that it has pass-through charging, so you can absolutely charge the Explorer 1000 while using it. turning it into a UPS of sorts. Speaking of charging, the Explorer 1000 has an absolute ton of ports for you to work with 3 AC outlets, 1 USB-A, 1 quick charge USB-AA, 2 USB-C PDs, and 1 car outlet. There are also 2 input slots for charging, one for a typical DC input that you can use with a wall outlet or a car, which should take 8 and 14 hours respectively, and a solar panel input. The latter is great if you combine it with 2 of Jackery's Solar Saga 100, which can do 100 watts of charging each on a clear day, and will recharge the Explorer 1000 in about 6 hours or so, which is excellent. That's all for our list of the 5 best solar generators on the market. Head over to the description below for links to more detailed info on each of the products. And remember to leave a comment to let us know your opinion. Thanks for watching. If we helped you out in any way, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. We'll see you guys in the next video.